So last class we had completed verse number 12. We will start by reading verse number 12 now. Ishtan bhogani vo deva dasyante yajna bhavita ter dattan aparadhyabhyo yo bhunkte stena ivasaha. So in this verse Krishna says that if you propitiate the deities, they will give you all that you desire. And the one who doesn't offer to them is actually no different from a thief. That means you have to acknowledge the role played by different natural forces. We may call them deities. So if you don't acknowledge that, you don't deserve to take anything from nature. So you are very much like a thief who steals without acknowledging the role of nature. Now moving on to the next verse, which is again, so all these are in continuation about Karma Yoga, the effect of Karma Yoga, what is going to be the natural cycle, how it runs, everything is going to be described. So let us read verse number 13. Yajna shishtani hasanto mucchante sarva kilbishay bhunjate tvagham papa ye pachan yatma karanat. Here Krishna says those who do Karma Yoga, those who offer food to the Lord before consuming it, they are released from all the impurities. Whereas those who cook only for themselves are subject to sin, or this word sin is not really applicable to the way in English language it is used. In our terms we call as papa. Papa means it is something which, if you don't go by the rules, you have to suffer for that. If you do good, you get punyam. So it is a question of punyam and papa. So you go by the rules. If you follow the traffic rules, the police is not going to catch you. If you don't follow the traffic rules, if you break the signal or you park in no parking zone, so all these rules if you break, definitely you will have to pay a fine. So if you violate the law of nature, there we are talking about man-made laws, where there is a direct fine. Immediately, if you cross the red signal, nowadays they have cameras everywhere, even if at that time you are not caught, you are given a notice on your mobile, because all your numbers are connected. So the moment you cross the signal, when it is red, automatically the camera records it and you are given a notice directly. So immediately you can see the effect. Or you park in no parking zone, immediately they come and collect the fine. But in the case of papam and punya, it is not immediate. It goes into your account. Suppose the policeman or the government has an account in each of us, and whatever you do, if it is accumulated over a period of a year, and then you clear all your dues at the end of the year, that is one way of doing it. Probably at the end of each year, you will get a bill. So these are all the traffic violations, these are all the rules you have broken. So this is the amount to be paid. Here it goes through probably a lifetime, or we may get over a period of time. During this life itself, you may pay for those violations sometime in future. So here again the point to be emphasized is the Karma Yoga attitude. The one who does Karma Yoga, over a period of time, his mind gets purified. Because only a pure mind will be able to absorb the knowledge. First of all, be ready for the knowledge. So anything when we do, we need to purify. Suppose you go to a temple. Before the idol is actually placed, the place is purified. Without purifying, if you place the idol, definitely whatever you do, that will not fetch the result. When you do a puja is done for a specific result. If you place it in an impure place, definitely the puja will not have sanctity. In fact, in some temples like in Guruvayur and all, what they do is, even by mistake, that's why they don't allow people to take small children. By mistake, if some child urinates and they come to know, the whole place will be vacated and a purification process will happen before again devotees are allowed. So one can say, oh, this is too much. What is there? If you want that deity to remain as pure as possible, because only when, not the deity by itself, the place, only a pure place when the deity is placed, you get the effect. So all the pujas that are done, you get that effect of those pujas. So a pure surroundings are required. Similarly, if you want the knowledge, that is the ultimate knowledge, you need to have a pure mind. So when you remove all the impurities, the mind is ready for knowledge. And once you gain knowledge, you get the ultimate prize, which is moksha. So Karma Yoga is the basis. If you follow Karma Yoga, you are purifying the mind, and the mind which is pure is ready for knowledge. And once you get the knowledge, you are free from everything. You come out of this cycle of birth and death. You attain moksha. So the one who doesn't do that, he continues to perform actions without Karma Yoga attitude. He may get lot of materialistic gains. People may say, okay, the one who follows Karma Yoga, he is not bothered about the materialistic aspect. He does whatever accrues out of it, he will definitely get. Even the materialistic gains happen. It is not that if you do Karma Yoga, you will get only spiritual benefits are available. But the main aim is to gain spiritual benefit. The materialistic gains are secondary. When you do with that attitude, you will also get materialistic gains. You can enjoy those also, but you are not bothered. Outwardly people may say, okay, this person is not successful. What has he achieved? He doesn't have a car, he doesn't have a house. But spiritually, he may have everything. On the other hand, a person who is not following this Karma Yoga, who's not the same. Karma yoga means the attitude. It is purely an attitude. How you do any action. If you do with that action, you receive whatever as a prasadam. So you offer to the deity and then you partake it. It becomes prasadam. It is no longer food. So it is, in our culture, it is automatically done by, in those days it was done in every household. Now slowly we have moved away from that. So we have forgotten this attitude, and that is why the problems are more. We have all grown materialistically. People have all kinds of comforts, but unfortunately, whatever food that we take, it is more like consuming poison, slow poison. Over a period of time, we are going to suffer. Definitely, outwardly we may look very comfortable, we may look very prosperous, but inwardly, this is not going to lead anywhere. So a person who partakes food without offering to the Lord or the natural forces, basically acknowledging the natural forces, such a person accrues sin or papa, and he will continue to accumulate, and then this papa, and of course he may have done some punyam also, together will become a package which is going to dictate the next birth, depending on how much papa and punya a particular person has accrued over this life and many previous lives, forms the basis of the next life. So this cycle continues, but when you do with the karma yoga attitude, you perform all your actions with the karma yoga attitude, your mind becomes more and more pure. The amount of papa that you are doing becomes less and less, and ultimately, when you have a very pure mind and then you are also pursuing knowledge, that knowledge will release you from all bondage. So this is what Krishna is trying to convey. So he says, acknowledge the natural forces, offer everything, be grateful, because whatever you have now, it is all given to you. Whether it is the body, whether it is the surroundings, whether it is the food, whether it is the water, whatever we have is already, it is like a gift already given to you. So it is your duty to be grateful for having received this, because nowadays we have this concept of return gifts. So somebody gives a birthday gift to you, so nowadays they have this attitude of giving return gifts. So we are getting all these gifts from nature, so our return gift is just the thankfulness, attitude of gratefulness. This attitude brings purity to the mind, and this purity makes you eligible for further knowledge. Now let us read the next verse number 14. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyad danna sambhavaha yagyad bhavati parjanyo yagya karma samudbhavaha. Here Krishna is talking about the cosmic cycle or the natural cycle, because living beings are born of food, because we are sustained by food alone, because without food we will not be able to survive. And how does food come? Food is born of rain. So without rain, everything will be barren. barren land will not be able to produce any food. Our body is made up of food. This body is sustained by food, because through this body only the next progeny also comes. That is also from food. So the food that you consume also is a part of you. So you are also made up of that food, and you are also sustained by the food. And food comes from rain. So without rain, there is no food. And how does rain happen? Rain happens because of yajna. And here, yajna basically means punyam. So, I think in every language there must be some proverb which says rain happens because of punyam done by so many people. Without punyam, rains will not happen. So rains happen because of punyam. And how does punyam happen? Punyam happens because of action. Again, the right action. Again, it goes back to karma yoga. So this is a cycle which is going on. In nature, so basically it means living in harmony. The cycle means if the entire cycle progresses without any problem, there is harmony in everything. So rains means it is not rains just like nowadays we receive rains, either we have floods or we have drought. Rains means if everything is in harmony, rains will happen at the right time, the right quantity, what is required to sustain. So if you have less rains, the crops will die. If you have more rains, the crops will again they will all be useless, because everything will start rotting in the excess water. So rains should happen at the appropriate time, in the appropriate quantity. So how does this happen? When nature is in harmony. And how nature is harmonious? When everybody does their action. So if you do your action, if you maintain the harmony, this cycle will progress without any problem. But unfortunately, whether we believe in punyam, here when we say punyam, people will say, oh, what is this punyam and papam? Is it related to some religious this thing? Punyam means just harmony. Nature, you don't need to believe in God, or you don't need to be a theist. You can be an atheist and you still can do punyam just by following the law of nature. As long as you don't disturb nature, you are doing your duty. You need not do anything excess. It's already there. Nature is already harmonious. Only humans can disturb this harmony. Animals are programmed to follow their nature. They cannot disturb harmony even if they want. Tigers cannot go berserk and kill the whole world. They will kill as long as they are hungry. After that, they are going to be silent. Each animal follows its own law of nature. They don't have any free will. Their movements, their nature is purely dictated by nature. Each animal is programmed, so to say, to function in a particular way. In a particular body, there is a particular way of living which they follow. Be it an animal or be it a tree. Even a tree, you will not get a papaya from a mango tree. You will not get a banana from a apple tree. So all these things are very clear. You will never find this. You may find some unusual things here and there, where probably now we have this BT. You have all kinds of brinjals now. Earlier we saw only that violet colored brinjal. Nowadays you have green, black, blue, all kinds of colors are coming because we have tampered with nature. It is not natural. So if we follow nature, there is harmony in nature. If we don't follow nature, it is going to be. So now, earlier it was called punyam. If everybody does punyam, then everything will be harmonious. So nowadays, whatever is good is happening also because of the punyam of so many people who are doing karma yoga. So we have to appreciate their role also. And even if we don't do anything extra, okay, I don't believe in karma yoga, as long as I don't disturb the harmony of nature, I am in tune with nature. You don't have to do anything out of the way. Because you know in some functions and all, there will be some people who will run to do something and they will mess up the whole thing. So if they are sitting alone, it is better because things will happen in the proper way. So similarly, as long as you don't disturb nature and proceed along with nature, everything will work fine. If you want to do something, do it with a karma yoga attitude, do it as a yajna. Automatically nature will take care of it. The harmony will. So it is not that you need to do anything special. See, even a African tribal, they do rain dance and they get rain. They have seen the effect of that dance. He may be mumbling something, he may not know our mantras, but nature understands his attitude. So whatever he mumbles, that is understood by nature, and nature gives the benefit also. So nothing is like this. Ecological balance is purely based on acknowledging the natural forces. So just by following the law of nature, and we can see the effect of not following nature, because nowadays, see, the simple cycle is oxygen carbon dioxide cycle, where you take in oxygen, you give out carbon dioxide, the plants produce oxygen which you need, you give the carbon dioxide which they need. So if you see nature, everything is interdependent. Even the smallest bug will have a role. We may not understand the role that plays. Maybe a snail, maybe a plant which we may feel is poisonous, but that plant will have its role. So everything is interdependent. There is no being which is not connected to each other. So the entire system is connected to everything else. So that is why food comes because of rain, rain comes because of yajna, and yajna comes because of action. So this is the cycle which in the next verse Krishna is going to extrapolate, and the source of all this is the ultimate source. It starts with that. In between, in nature, we have a lot of cycles. The water cycle, the nitrogen cycle, everything is cyclic. The natural, the seasons, they are all cyclic. You will never find that suddenly in 1 year after summer, winter comes immediately. There is no rainy season. There may be no rains, but it will not become winter immediately in June after summer is over. But now there are a lot of changes because we have, unfortunately, people know by cutting trees you are sort of affecting the cycle. But still we want to be comfortable, we want to have all the good things in life, we want to have a good building, so we cut down trees. And so nowadays, earlier there used to be plots with a house, like for example Jyoti's house, he has got so many trees. Now tomorrow if he decides to build a few flats there, all those trees will disappear. Like this, if everyone goes about, you can imagine the kind of effect it is going to have on nature. And nature is something which is which has everything. We think, okay, nowadays we have this concept of cloud seeding. So man says, I can also produce rain. But can man produce clouds? In a particular kind of atmosphere, when there are clouds, they go in a helicopter or a plane, and then they drop some chemicals which is called cloud seeding, and because of that rains happen. So you cannot make rains without clouds, and humans don't have the power to make clouds. So they have got this knowledge, okay, from studying nature. Again, this knowledge has come from nature only. Knowledge doesn't come from outside. There is no knowledge which is possible outside nature. Any knowledge that is not possible outside nature is not knowledge. Everything is already there. It's only that we discover, like say something is covered, you scrape a little bit and then you see, okay, this is what it is. You scrape more, you find a larger piece. Oh, then that becomes knowledge. Now firstly it is all covered. So knowledge is already there. All those so-called discoveries that human beings have achieved, they are great. Again, the human mind comes from nature. So this human mind discovers things which are already there. Only thing, we put it in a different way and say we have discovered everything. So, and then they say there are test tube babies. So it is not that in a test tube you put some chemicals, you add sodium nitrate with bromide and something like that, and then out pops a baby. It is only, you need two sets of parents. Only thing, it is done in a controlled way, in a controlled atmosphere, for the egg to get fertilized. So again, when somebody says science has advanced, now you have test tube babies. Babies are not produced in the test tube with chemicals. So it is only a understanding about the natural law, how a baby can be produced, but doing it in a slightly unnatural way. So nature has everything. Our job is only to go along with nature, ensure that we don't disturb nature. The more you acknowledge the role of that, if we pray to different deities who control various, like the sun, you have the wind, you have the rain. So all these, we have names of God. All these natural forces are given names of gods. Whether you believe in the God or not, you have no choice but to believe that these are natural forces, and these forces dictate how you live. So if you propitiate them, they will also take care of you. The natural cycle will not be affected. The more the karma yoga attitude, more people do with karma yoga attitude, you will understand a person who does karma yoga can never destroy nature, whether you believe in God or not. There are a lot of people. There are many scientists who may say, I don't know if there is God or whether God exists or not. But definitely he cannot say there is no natural forces, I create everything. Because of human beings only everything is running. If somebody thinks that way, nature will show them how powerful it is. One cyclone will blow away everything. One typhoon will destroy an entire village. One tsunami will take away many villages, many towns. So nature is supreme. The more we understand this, the more we propitiate nature, nature will give in abundance. Because that is what the natural law is. So this cycle ultimately leads to karma yoga. That is what? Because people are born of food. Food comes from rain. Rain comes because of karma, yajna. And yajna comes from your karma. Karma means karma yoga. So you do the proper action. Doing the yajna means doing if you do the proper action, you will accrue punya. Or otherwise, you maintain the harmony of nature. When nature is harmonious, rains will happen. And when rains happen, you get food. And food is what sustains you. So this is the law of nature which Krishna is explaining. So we are all aware of this, but unfortunately, in other cultures, other religions, they think nature is meant for man to consume. Whatever is available around, other than human, even human beings they may consume in some places. So everything is meant for the pleasure of humans. In Sanatana Dharma, it is clearly explained, you are the custodian of nature. Because man is nothing but a reflection of the total. He has a free will. If he uses that will properly, given the laws of nature, following the laws of nature, it is his duty to maintain. So, you are nothing but a representative of the total. And human beings are the only one who have a choice of doing or not doing something. No other beings have that choice. If you do something, if you do it with a proper attitude, if you do what is to be done and avoid what is not to be done, you are in harmony with nature. And when everything is harmonious, the whole world functions without any problems. But this is how it is going to be in this Kali Yuga, where definitely there are going to be problems. But individually, each of us, especially, see, nature is, all these laws are not meant for one particular country or one particular, it is applicable to every human being, every place in the world. It is not that Sanatana Dharma is restricted only to our country. It is only natural dharma for every human being. So as long as human beings follow dharma, follow the law of nature, there will be peace and harmony. Otherwise, there is going to be a lot of disturbances which we are seeing already, and that will continue. But individually, each one of us, because even if there's one, they say, even if there's one person with a good heart who does karma yoga, for him at least there will be some rain. So whatever is happening now, that is some people who are following the law of nature. Because of them it is happening. The more you follow, the more people follow. So it is those who follow will have to educate others to follow. So that is what it's already given. It's not that all this new things have come suddenly. We have to, ecological balance we have to maintain, on do this, do that. All this is nothing new. It's already there, and it will continue to be there. So Krishna is going to again extrapolate this. Now this cycle he has explained. Now in the next verse he is going to take that cycle to the how everything is connected to the total, which we will see in the next class.